Today we're at Wat Pha Sing, a temple in the middle of old Chiang Mai. We're going to look at some of the elements that make up the Thai temple. We'll name them and describe them. Thai temples in rural, economically challenged areas can be quite simple. In population centers that can afford them, they can be spectacular. But all temples will have some basic features and elements. The few rules that visitors to temples must observe are to dress appropriately and remove shoes when entering the buildings. Temples that have the space will have manicured gardens and walkways. Temples have an entrance gate. These can be elaborate or simple, and they may have mythological creatures set there to protect the temple. The Wihan is a building where the public can enter freely. It's where the main Buddha image is, and you will observe the worshippers paying respects and giving thanks, not praying, to the Buddha images. The boat, also referred to as ubosot, is the ordination hall, where the new monks take their vows. It is differentiated from the Wihan by the 8 cornerstones that are placed around it. Often there is a sign, "No women allowed," as the newly ordained monks take their vows to avoid close contact with women. The Hot Drai, also known as the library, but more accurately it is a depository of the temple's sacred and historical writings. The Hot Drai is usually built high up, often on stilts, in order to protect the sacred manuscripts from the elements in the rainy season. The Sala is an open-sided pavilion. It's a place for the public to gather, eat, study, and socialize. We used to live right near a temple. Every morning, just before dawn, they would ring the bell, probably to wake up all the monks. It also woke up everyone in the neighborhood, along with the 30 or so dogs that lived at the temple. The dogs barked and howled for the next 20 minutes. The kuti are the simple living quarters of the monks, and they are separated from the other sacred buildings. The jedi, sometimes referred to as a stupa or pagoda. Thai jedis are usually conical or bell-shaped, and often will contain the ashes of monks or kings, and sometimes a relic, bone, tooth, hair, etc., of the Buddha. A wat that contains a relic is referred to as Wat Patat, to differentiate it from the regular temple, or wat. Especially in the north, the roofs of temples are adorned with chofa, or mythical swans, possibly Garuda figures, half man, half bird. The lions guard the entrance to the temples and other buildings. There are 2 lions guarding the Bank of China in Hong Kong. The Yat, or giant, appear in the Ramakien story, the Thai version of the Hindu Ramayana. They are also here to guard the temples. A Naga, or mythological snake monster, most often seen as banisters on temple stairways. Many Thais believe that they really exist and are sometimes seen in the Mekong River. Some people think they may be an artistic rendering of the deep-sea oarfish. Guanyin Guan Im in Thai, the goddess of mercy in Mahayana Buddhism, and the Bodhisattva of compassion in Theravada Buddhism. An example of Chinese influence here. Ganesh, Pra Pikanet in Thai, the elephant god. This is an example of Indian and Hindu influence. The little guy at the bottom is a hermit who lives in caves and meditates. Pra Me Torani, the Mother Earth goddess. She's wringing the waters of compassion out of her hair to wash away Mara, the tempter wanting to stop the Buddha from achieving enlightenment. There are many symbolic aspects of the Buddha image. His hands are a chief indication. If the right hand points to the ground, then it shows him subduing Mara, the tempter. The flames coming from the top of his head represent his enlightenment. His long earlobes show that he's a prince. The Bo, or Bodhi tree, is the one the Buddha sat under when he achieved enlightenment. The story is that all the Bo trees in the temples in Thailand come from the same seeds of the original tree. You can identify the Bo tree by its heart-shaped leaves.